Back to my daily resilient mindset videos. Today I wanted to talk about perspective because we're the morning after the big announcement from the government that we are pretty much on lockdown, and I guess there's a number of ways we can see that, because perspective is how we see the world. We can see it in a fatalistic way, that it's a sign of things escalating and almost the end of the world coming, and I've seen those kind of messages today. Or we can see it's something that was definitely going to come. I've been expecting this for 2 or 3 weeks, and actually we can see it in a positive way, that a lockdown had to happen really, and a lockdown has been showing signs of great effect in countries like China and Singapore. So I view the lockdown as a very positive move. I don't think it's great at all for any of us that we're going to have to be homebound and possibly unable to work for 3-4 weeks, possibly a fair bit longer. But this had to happen, and the only way the virus can spread is if we're out in contact with each other. So I guess that's why I'm seeing that, and I think the perspective that we choose is important throughout this really, because we can, as I've said many times, a big part of our psychology is survival orientated, which can be very fatalistic, and we can go down with that, we can go down that path, or we can choose to have a different perspective. Remember that we all have a view of the world. There's a great quote by Alfred Korzybinski, which is, "The map is not the territory," which basically means we're all bringing our own filtered view of the world to the world, and in effect there's no actual reality that we experience. It is all through our filters, and we do have some choice and control over the way that we see the world, or the way that we see our world. There's a good post, a good open letter I saw from Bill Gates today as well, talking about what we can take away from this experience, this pandemic. When eventually the dust has settled on this terrible episode, what do we take away? And I think lessons about focusing on the connection within the world, on health, on family, on the state of the planet, all of those kind of things need to come home as bigger messages to us. We need to shift our perspective on those. But for you today, just be mindful of the fact that you can have some choice in your perspective, and be mindful of the fact that a big part of your psychology can take you down some very dark paths. But do your best to choose to see things in as positive a way as possible. Choose to see that the time that you have on lockdown is time that you can actually have quality time with the people that you love, and savour those moments as well. I'll be back tomorrow.